Mr. Syed Aslam of the JDS. Aishwarya has not answered this question, but I'm going to ask you this. Fundamentally, the problem with the Muslim quota, even as Aishwarya argues, it was not based on religion or faith, it was based on socio-economic backward status. The fundamental problem was that socio-economic backward status was for people of one faith. That 4%, if you were socially and economically backward but not from the Muslim faith, you are not entitled to that 4% quota. Now, please tell me, Syed Aslam, why that should not be seen legally as a violation of the fundamental tenet of the Constitution that you cannot have quotas based on religion.
Well, Zaka, let me give you a very valid response to the stance. The Syed Committee report has categorically said the Muslim community, with respect to socio-economic and educational status, is behind the SC community. Let me give you some stats. The youth between the age of 15 to 24. Yeah. Okay. I think.
No, go on. I can hear you.
Are you able to hear?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So, Zaka, let me give you some stats, some empirical evidence as well. Zaka, in the Syed Committee report, it was categorically told that the Muslim community's economic, socio-economic and educational status is worse than the SC community. Let me give you some stats. Between the age of 15 and 24, the youth who have enrolled in the educational institution is just 39%, versus the youth who have enrolled in the SC community in the educational institutions is 44%. And the OBC community is 51%, versus the upper caste Hindu community is 59%. You can understand the educational status of Muslims. And the second very important thing, Muslims contribute about 13% of this population. The bureaucratic representation in the government is just 2.7%, right? And you know what is our representation in the political arena and so on and so forth. Now, it is not about the Muslim communities being given reservation because they belong to one particular religion. It is about the economic status. It is about the social, economic, and educational status.
Mr. Aslam, So the government's argument. Give me 10 seconds. Government's argument is that if you are socially or economically backward, you're already covered under the 10% EWS quota. You apply in that. One second. Yeah. Syed Aslam,
Yeah. So, Zaka, I am drawing a very clear comparison based on the social, economic, and educational status.
Yes.
I am telling you this economically, socially, and educationally backward status didn't start from 1994. There are Miller Commission report, which was constituted by then Maharaja of Mysore in 1921. The Muslims were considered as the backward community, and post independence, the first commission, also, we have multiple commissions which have gone through. We have Havanur Commission. We have so many. Based on the Chinnappa Reddy Commission, it is not the Congress government which brought in the reservation for Muslims. Based on the Chinnappa Reddy Commission in 1994, it is Honorable former Prime Minister Deve Gowdaji. Then he was the Chief Minister. He was the one who brought the reservation for Muslim community.
Okay.
It was looking at their social, economic, and educational status.
Rasheed Kidwai, the point is whether this is legally tenable or not. That, of course, we'll leave it to the Supreme Court to decide whether or not the scrapping of the quota and then redistributing that amongst Lingayats and Vokoligas. Ultimately, the legal call on this will be taken by the Supreme Court. What I'm curious to know is this has set the political narrative in the electoral battlefield of Karnataka. Mr. Amit Shah has made it clear, not just in the CNN News 18 interview, but throughout his campaign speeches over the last couple of days, that this is the one big difference between the BJP government and the Congress. The BJP government has cut the quota for Muslims and instead given it to Lingayats and to Vokoligas, whereas the Congress government and other opposition governments were interested only in quotas for Muslims. This is a political narrative. You cannot counter that legally, you have to counter that politically.
Yes, Zaka, indeed, reservation, the entire politics around reservation is highly politicized. But what was BJP doing for last 3 years since it's been in power since 2020? Why it did not scrap? On the eve of election, they went ahead with this because just in order to politicize it. I personally am against all quotas except for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. But if the Brahmins are getting it, if other castes are getting it, if criteria is economic backwardness, then it's very obvious the Muslims are economically backward. Now, whether they get it into EWS or some other form or other, it is for courts and governments to decide. But what was BJP government doing for past 3 years there when reservations were in force for Muslims?
No, that's a valid point, but please answer, Rashid, as to why, that extra 4% is only for socially and economically backward Muslims. Nobody has a quota for socially and economically backward Christians or socially and economically backward Jains, socially economically backward Hindus. I mean, the point is that why should there be one subcategory for socially and economically backward sections of one community or one faith?
No, but what I'm saying is, what is wrong in it? We know that the Jain community and the Sikh community and for that matter Christian community does not require this kind of reservation. If a Muslim community requires on the grounds of backwardness, economic backwardness, they should be getting it.
No, but that economic backwardness is already there under the EWS quota. That is for all.
Who are you competing with, Zaka?
That's not enough. And as my fellow panelist was saying, this was been going on for last 50, 70 years. Several commissions have said it. And most important point, why, if it was so wrong, why this wrong was allowed to continue for 3 years when the BJP was in power in Karnataka?
Okay, so that G.N. Prashant.